Hello, hello, hello. Everybody see the thumbnail? Everybody see the thumbnail about Platner. Democrats, stop clutching your pearls and get behind Platner. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. We as Democrats make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? Hold on, let me close the one. And we wonder why we always lose to Republicans. The minute one of our candidates get hit with something ugly, we panic. We panic. We pull our endorsements like they trying to do on Platner, pull our money, demand resignations, start looking for a replacement before the Republicans even have time to finish the attack. Then after we weaken our own candidate, dividing our own voters and help the other side win, we sit around asking what went wrong. Well, I'm tired of watching us snatch defeat from the jaws of victory because we're always trying to prove we have the moral superiority party. Republicans don't give a damn if we think they took the low road. They take the low road straight to power. And then they use that power to pass laws, appoint judges, and change this country while Democrats are still standing on the high ground, congratulating themselves for how well they lost. Oh, I didn't do nothing illegal. I didn't do nothing morally wrong, but we're the best candidates. Fuck that. And now we're doing the same thing with Graham Platner. If you have just heard about Platner this week, you might think this whole story started with one bombshell accusation. It didn't. This man has been dragged through controversy for months. Old offensive online comments came out. Former girlfriends described troubling behavior. There were stories about heavy drinking, mental health struggles, and the way he treated women. Platner acknowledged some of his past problems, denied abusing women, and said he had changed. The voters heard it. They had a choice, and they chose him. More than 150,000 Maine Democrats made Graham Platner their nominee to take on Susan Collins. They didn't choose him because they thought he was perfect. They chose him because they believed in what he was fighting for and believed he could win. Then Monday came. Hold on, let me show you this article. Y'all wild, I swear. Y'all wild. Just believe anything. Hold on. This right here. A woman who once dated Platner publicly accused him of sexually assaulting her in 2021. This is a serious allegation, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise, okay? Political says it interviewed her 3 times and reviewed material it considered corroborating, including messages that she sent before Platner even ran for office and communications involving her therapist. That is the allegation. Then came the denial. Hold on. Wait a minute. Watch this. Here we go.
Serious and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united in a love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins. So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. On June 9th, 154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class. They voted for hope, for change, to take back our economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat. Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated. And we will use every tool at our disposal to do so.
So, hold on. So, now there it is. Graham Platner says it's false. He didn't call it a misunderstanding. He didn't say he couldn't remember. He categorically denied non-consensual behavior. And his campaign says the effort to push him out is politically coordinated and pointing to the timing, because the deadline to replace him on the ballot is right around the corner. And y'all goofy ass, the Democrats, gonna make us lose his seat. I don't know what happened in that house in 2021. I don't give a damn. Neither do you. There's a serious accusation. There's reporting that deserves to be taken seriously. And there's a categorical denial. That is where the facts stand right now. But Democrats didn't wait there for 5 damn minutes. They wanted to jump their ass out there and condemn that man before anything could happen. Put this on the screen. I be doing too much. Ro Khanna pulled his endorsement. Ruben Gallego pulled his endorsement. The DSCC withdrew their support. Chuck Schumer, Christian Gillibrand put out their statements. The Senate Majority PAC started moving its money somewhere else. And Citizens United pulled out. And Citizens United pulled out. The main Democratic Party backed away. Y'all Democrats fucking goofy. That's why I love being a Democrat, but you fucking people are goofy. Did anybody stop to use the bathroom first before y'all told him to get out of the way? This story came out and Democrats started running so fast for the fucking exit, you would have thought the building was on fire. 1 minute, Graham Platner was the nominee chosen by Democratic voters, and the next minute, people were already asking who could replace him. We ain't got no time for that. Stand behind that goddamn man. And I sat there thinking, here we go again. You Democrats always losing. You're always looking for the fucking loss. Because Republicans wouldn't do this shit. They would not hear an accusation their candidate denies and immediately volunteer to destroy their own damn campaign. Y'all goofy. You Democrats are goofy. They would circle the wagons, challenge the story, attack the timing, defend the nominee, and make the other side beat them at the ballot box. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all ain't learned nothing. You established Democrats ain't learned nothing. Don't believe me? Look at Texas. Ken Paxton has been followed by scandal after scandal after scandal for almost 11 goddamn years in statewide office. He spent years under felony indictment. 8 of his own top deputies went to the FBI with accusations against his ass. He was impeached by the Republican-controlled Texas House. There were corruption allegations and allegations of an extramarital affair. His wife later filed for divorce on what she called biblical ground. Republicans knew all of this. They nominated him. They nominated that trash for the United States Senate anyway. And now they're going to fight him to get elected. Fight to get him elected. That person, the Republicans are going to fight to get him elected. That is the difference I want to talk about tonight. Republicans look at a damaged candidate and ask, how do we win with him? Democrats look at a damaged candidate and say, how fast can we get away? How fast can we run away? We don't never stand behind nobody. You don't never stand behind nobody. That's why y'all lose. Then we wonder why they keep beating us. I know what some of y'all are already saying. TPP, are you saying the allegations don't matter? No, it matters. Are you saying the woman should not have come forward? No, she had every right to come forward. Are you saying Platner is innocent? No, the fuck, I ain't saying he's innocent. But I am saying Graham Platner has denied it, and I am not willing to pretend that an accusation and a conviction are the same thing. Y'all may, a lot of y'all do. But Democrats are so goddamn scared of bad headlines, they don't know how to stand up for nobody. And I'm not willing to erase a primary in one goddamn afternoon, erase a Democratic candidate that stands up for the principles that we believe in just for this accusation that may or may not be true. And I'm damn sure not willing to keep watching Republicans stand behind candidates carrying enough baggage to fill an airport while Democrats throw our own candidate overboard at the first sound of thunder. So yeah, I'm taking a position tonight. I think Democrats should stand behind Graham Platner. Not because I know what happened in 2021. I don't. Not because the allegation should disappear. It shouldn't. I think we should stand behind him because he is the nominee. He has denied the allegation. The voters chose him. And I'm tired of Democrats surrendering political power while Republicans fight to keep every fucking inch of theirs. Y'all goofy, you fucking Democrats. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think abandoning Graham Platner would be a fucking mistake. And the first one starts in Texas because Ken Paxton and the Republican Party have already shown us something Democrats need to fucking learn. They don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory just to prove they can take the high moral ground. Fuck that high moral ground. We fighting for the soul of this fucking country. Republicans fight to win. Y'all fight to lose. The first reason I think Democrats should stand behind Graham Platner is because Republicans understand one simple rule that they keep refusing, that we as Democrats keep refusing to learn. Once the voters choose a candidate, they make the other side beat that fucking candidate. Maine people chose that man. You stand behind that man, you make the Republicans beat him. 10 toes stand behind that man and make the Republicans come get some. We as Democrats don't do that. Let's go to Texas, shall we? Let me show you this article. Show you this article. I'm so disappointed in you Democrats. I swear, sometimes I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's like y'all ain't my party. It's like y'all ain't my party. I don't understand. I want y'all to look at this because Ken Paxton is not carrying one new accusation that came out 3 months ago. Before the election, scandal has followed this man for most of the 11 years he's held statewide office. In 2015, shortly after becoming Attorney General, Paxton was indicted on felony securities fraud charges. Prosecutors accused him of misleading investors by recruiting them without disclosing that he was making money from the deal. That case followed him for nearly 9 fucking years before prosecutors agreed to drop the charges in 2024 if he completed 100 hours of community service and met other conditions. Now stay with me because this is where the difference between Republicans and Democrats starts showing itself. Ken Paxton ran for re-election in 2018 while he was still under indictment. His Democratic opponent made those charges a major issue in the campaign. The voters knew about it. The headlines were there. Nobody could say Republicans were kept in the dark. Paxton won. Then in 2020, 8 of his own top deputies went to the FBI and accused him of using the Attorney General's office to help a donor and a friend. These were not Democrats. These were people who worked for him, Republicans. Paxton survived that too. Then came the impeachment. The Republican-controlled Texas House impeached him after allegations that he had abused his office to help that same donor. The proceedings also included allegations of an extramarital affair. His own party impeached his ass. The Texas Senate acquitted him, and Ken Paxton kept moving. His wife later filed for divorce on what she called biblical ground. The federal corruption investigation eventually ended without charges. The old securities case was resolved. Some allegations were never proven. Others remained political baggage. But the point is not to lump every controversy together and call it all proven. The point is that Republican voters had information, years of information about Ken Paxton, years of headlines, years of opponents telling him he was corrupt and unfit for office, and they kept voting for him. Then last month, Republicans had another choice. They chose him over John Cornyn, a sitting United States Senator. Make it make sense. John Cornyn and his allies spent months and months and months and months and months reminding Republican voters of everything I just told you about Ken Paxton. And Republican voters chose Ken Paxton. That's the fucking lesson right there. Republicans didn't say Ken Paxton has too much baggage, so much, let's make life easier. No. You Democrats, boy, and I need Democrats to understand this. We are different. Y'all can't be different from them. Y'all want to be different, but y'all can't be different. Graham Platner is hit with a serious allegation. He denies it. Before the day is over, Democrats start abandoning that man. Ken Paxton carried years of controversy into a Republican primary, and the voters were allowed to decide whether they still wanted him or not. Graham Platner gets one afternoon before Washington starts deciding that Maine voters need somebody else. Shut y'all's ass up. Do y'all see the problem? Republicans make Democrats defeat their candidate. That's what Republicans do. Democrats keep volunteering to defeat their own damn people. Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. Ken Paxton is exactly the kind of candidate Democrats should never imitate. I'm not telling you to imitate the man. I'm telling you to study the strategy, dumbass. There's a difference. I don't want Ken Paxton's politics. I don't want his agenda. I don't want to become a Republican, but I can look at my opponent and recognize when my opponent understands something I don't. Republicans understand that every time you throw away a candidate, you throw away more than a person. You may throw away a seat. You may throw away a vote in the Senate. You may throw away the power to pass your agenda. That is why they don't scare easily. And you fucking Democrats run for the hills, you pussies. The Texas Tribune reported that Paxton's victory has Republicans worried. His baggage could make a normally safe Republican Senate race much more expensive. Of course, some Republicans estimate that defending him and his seat could cost over $150 million. I get that. Do you know what I did not read? Did you know what I did not read? I did not read that Republicans were giving the seat to James Tallarico. That's what the fuck I did not read. They're worried. They're going to spend more money. The race may be harder, but they're going to fight for that trash-ass candidate that they got in Ken Paxton. That is what political parties are supposed to do. You don't only fight when your candidate is perfect. The polls are easy and the headlines are good. Everybody can stand behind a candidate. Then he's so nice. He's so fine. He's religious. He's the best candidate. You find out whether a party knows how to fight when the candidate is damaged, when the candidate has baggage. The race gets ugly and winning becomes harder than you expected. Y'all need to get behind Graham Platner. Republicans look at a harder race, and that's how much will it cost. Democrats look at a harder race and ask, who can we replace him with? We need to get him out of the race. He ain't no perfect candidate. That's why I keep saying we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory every fucking time. You Democrats, y'all love to fuck shit up. We think the first sign of political danger means we need to save ourselves from our own candidate. Republicans think the first sign of political danger means they need a bigger war chest. They need more money. Now, Ken Paxton himself explained the Republican position after he won the primary. He said accusations don't mean something actually happened. That allegation have to be proven, right? Right? Proven you're innocent until proven guilty, right? I don't know Democrat. I know Democrats don't want to hear anything from Ken Paxton, but forget the messenger for a minute. Is an accusation proof? No. Is an allegation a conviction? No. Does a headline settle a dispute? No. Then why do Democrats keep creating a political standard that Republicans will never apply to themselves? That's what makes this bigger than Platner. We're fighting with one hand tied behind our goddamn back and then complaining that Republicans don't tie up theirs. We say a serious allegation may make our candidate politically unacceptable. Republicans say, prove it. 2 bags full. We worry about being criticized for standing beside a flawed candidate. Republicans worry about losing the seat. Worry about losing the seat, dumbass Democrats. Worry about losing the seat. We ask how our support will look. They ask what it will take to win. And then we act surprised when they end up with more power than we do. Just dumb. I'm not saying there should never be a line. Of course, there should be a line. If facts are established, deal with the facts. If somebody admits wrongdoing, deal with the admission. If evidence changes the case, then deal with that evidence. But Democrats have turned tail and ran on principle. We don't wait for the facts to change. We start moving because the headlines change. That's not strength. That ain't strategy. Ken Paxton is useful to Republicans because they believe he can help them hold a Senate seat. So they are going to spend the money, defend the candidate, and make James Tallarico come get some. Graham Platner is useful to Democrats because he built the campaign that gave us a real chance to beat Susan Collins. Why aren't we making her beat him? She can't beat him if you stand behind him. Why are we clearing the road for her? This is where, boy. Let me show you another video. Just, I'm so disappointed in you Democrats. I can't. Sometimes I just can't. Okay? Look at this. I just wanted to show you twice. He's still doing that fuck shit. He's still doing that garbage. He's still doing it. He still is doing all the things that we say you don't want from a Senate candidate. That's wild. That's my first reason. Ken Paxton. I'm not asking Democrats to say Graham Platner is perfect. He ain't. I'm not asking Democrats to promise that nothing else will ever come out. Nobody can promise that. I'm asking Democrats to stop acting like every damaged candidate must immediately become a discarded candidate. Republicans looked at Ken Paxton and saw the baggage. They also saw the seat. Democrats need to start seeing the goddamn seat. Because if Graham Platner is going down, make sure Susan Collins beats him. Make Republicans spend their damn money. Make them make the case. Make them win the votes. But stop doing it for them, Democrats. No, we got to take you. You got to get that dude that was in the house who was harassing his assistant, and his assistant committed suicide. That man wasn't going to leave that seat. He didn't give a damn what the public said. Republicans didn't give a damn what they said. You Republicans are trifling and sad. And that brings me to my second reason. This brings me to my second reason for standing behind Platner. Because before Democrats throw away the nominee, we need to deal with what is actually true right now. There's a serious accusation. There's reporting that deserves to be examined. And there's categorical deniability. That is not a verdict. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe. Please and thank you. I'd appreciate you guys hitting the like, share, and subscribe. Okay? I always do this. I always had this kind of content. I'd appreciate you guys. Hitting the buttons. Please and thank you. Number 2, accusation is not the verdict. And that brings me to the second reason for standing behind Platner. Before Democrats throw away the nominee, we need to deal with what is actually true right now. There's a serious accusation, there's reporting that deserves to be examined, and there's categorical denial. That is where we are. I'm not going to pretend political report is weak because it ain't. The woman put her name on the allegation. Political interviewed her 3 times. The reporters reviewed messages that she sent before Platner ever became a candidate. We get all that. That makes the accusation serious. It does not make the accusation proven. Those are two different things. And apparently Democrats have forgotten how to hold 2 thoughts in their fucking head at the same time. We can take her seriously without declaring him guilty. We can examine the reporting without pretending the reporting is a verdict. We can listen to what she says and still listen to what he says. Why has that become so difficult to you Democrats? He wasn't in the House in 2021. Neither were the senators pulling their endorsements. Neither were the political organizations pulling their money. Okay? Listen to Greg Platner. He has denied these things. This is a denial. You've heard the video. Now you don't have to believe him because he said it. A denial does not prove innocence any more than an accusation proves guilt. But if Democrats are going to mention this denial in one sentence, then behave as if he admitted everything in the next. What was the point of hearing him at all? That is what bothers me. Politically, Democrats have already reached a verdict. They can say they haven't. They can say careful words like credible, troubling, deeply troubling. But when you withdraw your endorsement, pull your money, demand that the candidate leave and start discussing his replacement, you have made a decision. And they made it fast. Okay? They made it too fast. Okay? No. We ain't trying to throw him out the door. We ain't trying to do all that. Hold that. Okay. You can replace the name. You cannot replace the movement. Now, even if Democrats decide they don't want to wait, they have another problem. They're acting like Graham Platner can simply be removed and replaced, and the campaign will keep moving like nothing happened. It won't. You can replace a name on a ballot. You cannot automatically replace the people who put the name there. And this is my third reason for standing behind Graham Platner. This man did not get handed this nomination by Washington. The Democratic Party did not go into a back room and decide he was next in line. Platner built a campaign that people wanted to be a part of. He says it became the largest volunteer operation in Maine's political history. Hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors gave money. Those people did not vote for generic Democrat. They voted for Graham Platner. And I want you to hear him talk about that because his statement, I think Democrats seem to be overlooking. He said they voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and other donor classes. Throughout it all, you never turn your back on me. That's what he said, and I will not turn my back on you. That is the political problem Democrats are about to create for themselves. Those voters did not choose Platner by accident. They had other choices. They went through a primary. They listened to the candidate. They knew he had baggage, and they still decided he was a person they wanted to beat Susan Collins. Not a party is talking like all it has to do is take his name off the ballot. Put somebody else's name there, and everybody who built his campaign will fall in line. Why would you assume that? Who is the replacement? Who has the organization? Who has the donors? Who has the volunteers? Who has the name recognition? Who has already convinced enough people to get off the couch, go to the polls, and vote for him? Because not Graham Platner is not a campaign. And right now, that seems to be the entire plan from y'all. Maine law gives Democrats a limited window. If Platner leaves by July 13th, the party can choose another candidate by July 27th. Shut the door, please. Think about what that means. The voters had a primary. The voters made their choice. Then if Platner is pushed out, party officials choose somebody else. And everybody is supposed to act like this is the safer option. Safer for who? It may be safer for senators who don't want to answer questions about Platner. It may be safer for organizations that don't want their names connected to them. It may be safer for donors who don't want criticism, but is it safer for beating Susan Collins? That's the point. Nobody has answered that. They keep telling us Platner has become a political liability. Okay, tell me who the political asset is. Who is standing there ready to take over this campaign and keep every donor, every volunteer, and every voter? Who is willing to do that? Who can walk in during the middle of July and rebrand the operation before November? I need a name. I need a plan. I need more than just panic. Because removing a candidate does not remove the damage. The allegation will sit there. Platner's name will still be part of that race. A new candidate will still be asked about him. Republicans will still run attack ads against him. Susan Collins will still say Democrats nominated Platner and then force him out. The only difference is Democrats will be trying to introduce a new candidate while rebuilding the campaign in the middle of a general election. How is that automatically better? This is what Democrats do when they panic. That's why I hate Democrats sometimes. We become so desperate to escape the problem in front of us that we don't look at the problem waiting on the other side. Y'all so short-sighted, it ain't even funny. Democrats are so short-sighted. Platner stays, that is risky. Platner leaves, that's risky too. But if he stays, we might win. There's no clean choice here, but I keep hearing people talk like replacing him is some kind of reset button. Push the button, erase the controversy, start over. No, politics do not work that way. And voters definitely don't work that way. You cannot take the enthusiasm people had for one candidate and assign it to another candidate. Look at what happened to Kamala Harris. You cannot transfer loyalty like money between bank accounts. You cannot tell volunteers, thank you for your time. Thank you for what you built. Some will say, some won't. Some donors will give, some won't. Some volunteers will accept the replacement, some won't. Then we're going to have the same damn situation we had with Kamala Harris. This is where the Senate Majority PAC statement caught my attention. Show the Senate Majority PAC section. We continue to believe this seat is winnable if Platner is not on the ballot. That's what the fuck they said. We continue to believe the Senate seat is winnable if Platner is not on the ballot. Now listen to that. They believe the seat is winnable. With who? With who? I'm not trying to be funny. With who? Because there's a huge difference between saying the current candidate has a problem and proving another candidate can win. Those are not the same thing. You can get rid of Platner and still lose. Except now you may lose after dividing the party, angering some of the voters, breaking up the campaign and replacing the nominee with somebody who never won a single primary vote. What the hell is wrong with y'all? And then what? Do Democrats get another gold star? You get another gold. Oh, I was so morally right. I was so morally correct. Do you get a gold star for that? At least we lost with a clean, clear candidate. This is where I need the people making these decisions stop thinking about the next 24 hours and start thinking about November. The immediate political pain of keeping Platner may be worse. I understand that, but the long-term political damage of replacing him may be even worse than that. That is the calculation nobody seems willing to make. Instead of everybody trying to get away from the bad headline, but the goal is not to survive the headline. The goal is to win the Senate seat. And I keep coming back to the people who built this campaign because they're almost disappearing from the conversation. The senators get a say. The party committee gets a say. The endorser gets a say. The donor gets a say. Television commentators get a say. What about the voters? What about the people who stood in line and cast a ballot for him? What about the volunteers who gave their time? Because if this party leaders push out this candidate the voters chose and install somebody else, don't be surprised when some of these voters say, then what did you need me for? Don't be surprised when people who already believe the Democratic establishment does not listen to them feel like they have just been proven right. And don't assume everybody will come running back by November just because Susan Collins is a Republican. That is a dangerous assumption. The movement around Graham Platner was built around a message that rejected politics controlled by Washington and the donor class. Now imagine the Democratic Party responding to this crisis by pushing him out and choosing his replacement through a party process. Do y'all see the problem? Kamala was not considered legitimate because y'all did that. The very people who supported Platner because they were tired of Washington deciding everything would now be asking to support a candidate chosen by Washington and forcing their candidate out. Susan Collins would not even have to write the attack ads. You dumb jackasses. Democrats would write it for her. Now, none of this means Platner gets a lifetime pass because he won a primary. Of course not. Winning an election does not make anybody untouchable, but a primary victory should mean something. A grassroots organization should mean something. Before Democrats blow his campaign up, they need to know what they are replacing it with. Not hope, not a press release, A real campaign, a real organization, real money, real volunteers worked for that campaign. And right now, I don't see them having a plan. I see panic. I see people running for the exit. I see organizations pulling support. I have not seen anybody explain how they rebuild what he built. That is why my third reason is different from the first. This is not about Ken Paxton. This is not about whether the allegations have been proven. This is about political reality. Graham Platner is not standing there by himself. There's an entire campaign attached to this man. If you remove him, you may remove more than the problem. You may remove the very thing that made this race winnable. And before Democrats take that chance, somebody needs to prove that the cure is not worse than the damn disease. Because you can replace the candidate, all right. You cannot order another movement overnight. You cannot manufacture enthusiasm by July 27th. And you cannot tell 150,000 voters that their choice mattered right up until the moment the party decided that it didn't. The party decided that it didn't. That brings me to the fourth and final reason, because this whole mess is bigger than Graham Platner. This is about a Democratic Party that keeps getting close enough to victory to touch it, then finds a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, because we are so determined to take the fucking high ground. And I'm tired of watching Republicans take the power while we take the high ground. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please and thank you. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And this brings me to this fourth reason and final reason for standing behind Graham Platner. This is bigger than one candidate now. This is about a Democratic Party that keeps getting close enough to touch victory and then does something stupid. I'm tired of watching them have the power. Republicans have the power. This is what we do. We get close, we build a campaign, we get the volunteers excited, we raise the money, we finally have a real shot at the seat everybody says we need, and then something happens that makes us uncomfortable. The political fight gets ugly, and suddenly Democrats become more concerned with proving we're better than Republicans than beating the Republicans. Republicans do not give a damn if we think they're hypocrites. They do not give a damn if they think they have no standards. They do not give a damn if we write 1,000 damn articles about their moral failures. They want that seat. We want that seat. And once they get the seat, they use it. That is the part Democrats keep forgetting. Political power is not a reward given to the party with the cleanest hands. You do not get extra senators because you behave better. You do not get another Supreme Court justice because you issued the most principled statement. Nobody gives you a bill signing pen because everybody agrees to that you took the high road. You either have the votes or you don't. You either get the seat or you don't. And Republicans understand that better than we do. I'm not saying they're right about everything they do. A lot of times they take loyalty so far that they defend things that should never be defended. This president and his actions is exhibit one. I don't want Democrats to become like that completely. But why do we always have to run to the extreme opposite? Why do our choices always have to be blind loyalty or immediate surrender? Why can't we stand still long enough to fight? Why can't we say our candidate denies this allegation? We take it seriously. We're not abandoning him today. That is not throwing morality out the window. That is refusing to throw the election out the window. And this is where the Democrats' outrage starts getting on my fucking nerves, because we don't even apply those standards consistently. We act like the minute serious misconduct is alleged against one of our own, Democrats always move immediately. Everybody suddenly remembers the values. Everybody finds the red line. Everybody knows exactly what must happen. No, we don't. We have watched Democrats take their time before. We watched the House members accused of harassing his own staff secretary, and Democrats did not all discover their running shoes in one afternoon. There were questions, there were reporting, there was pressure. There was time for people to figure out what they were going to do and say. So don't tell me Democrats have one automatic rule that says a serious allegation comes out at 3 o'clock and the endorsement has to be gone by dinner. That's not a rule, that's a choice. And with Graham Platner, Democrats choose panic. They choose speed, they choose distance. They choose to make sure nobody could accuse them of waiting too long. What they have not chosen yet is a strategy for winning the goddamn seat. That is a problem. Because every person who pulled an endorsement protected themselves. Every organization that pulled its money protected itself. Every politician who called on Platner to leave made sure nobody could come back later and ask why they stood beside him. Fine. They protected themselves. Who protected the campaign? Who protected the Senate seat? Who protected the possibility of beating Susan Collins? That's the question nobody wants to ask, because the minute you ask it, somebody says you're putting politics above morality. Well, this is politics. Of course, I'm thinking about politics. We're all talking about United States Senate elections. The whole point is political power. And I need Democrats to stop acting ashamed of wanting it and fighting for it. Republicans are not ashamed. They want power because they know what they can do with it. They can confirm judges, block legislation, control committees, decide what gets the votes. They can protect the president. They can investigate whoever they want to. They can pass their agenda. They can stop ours. That is why they fight so hard for every fucking seat, regardless of their candidate. Democrats keep talking about all the things they want to protect, all the things they want to pass, all the things they want to do. But then we act like the fight for the power to protect those things is beneath us. It ain't. You want to protect voting rights? Win. You want to protect healthcare? Win. Shut the fuck up and get behind Graham Platner. We need to win that Senate. We need to win the Senate. Shut your ass up and get behind Graham Platner. You want to protect reproductive freedom? You want to stop Republicans from controlling the Senate? Win. Because none of those things care how beautifully you lost. They don't give a damn how you lost. And this is where I think Democrats have confused the high ground with the winning ground. They're not the same thing. My God. Sometimes the high ground is where you stand while the other side walks right past you and takes the government. Shit, bars, TPP. We've been standing up there a long time. How's that working out for us? Republicans have spent years showing us exactly who the fuck they are. They will fight through scandal. They will challenge the accusation. They will attack the time. They will question the source. They will call the reporting biased, liars. They will raise more money if the race gets harder. They will drag a damaged candidate across the goddamn finish line if they believe the candidate gives them one more damn vote, one more damn seat. Then Democrats stand there saying, can you believe they're doing this? They're doing that. They're so morally hypocritical. They're da-da-da. Shut your ass up and get behind that candidate. We ain't worried about being morally right now. We fighting for the soul of this country. What the hell is wrong with y'all? The question is why Democrats still haven't learned anything from watching the Republicans. Not a damn thing. Y'all ain't learned nothing? Again, I'm not saying copy everything Republicans do. I'm saying learn the damn lessons that actually matter. Make the other side beat you. Make them come get some. That is it. Stop beating us up first. If Susan Collins wants the Senate seat, make her come get some from Graham Platner. Make her come get it. Make Republicans spend the money. Make them run ads. Make them defend their record. Make them convince Maine voters to send Susan Collins back to Washington. Why are Democrats trying to finish the race before it starts? That is what I mean by snatching the defeat from the jaws of victory. Nobody had taken the seat from us yet. Nobody had beaten Platner yet. He was winning. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Nobody had counted one general election vote. But Democrats out here heard one terrible story and immediately started dismantling the campaign. We pulled endorsement, pulled support, pulled money. Then we start talking about replacing the nominee. Susan Collins didn't have to do a damn thing. We did everything for her. This is political malpractice. Yes, that's what the fuck it is. Political malpractice. Y'all don't deserve to run no campaign. Y'all don't deserve to have somebody like Greg Platner in the Senate seat. Y'all don't deserve to have the power in Washington. If you guys keep crying like this, you pussies. And I want to go back to Texas one last time, but I'm not going to retell the Ken Paxton story. We already know this story. I want to talk about the response. Republicans know Paxton's baggage could make the race harder. They know James Tallarico has raised serious money. They know a race that should have been comfortable may now cost them a fortune. The response is not surrender. The response is to figure out what it will cost to win. Do y'all see the difference? Do y'all see the difference between Democrats and Republicans? Republicans get a problem and start looking for money. Democrats get a problem and start looking for the fucking exit. That right there is why I'm tired of looking at you stand on the moral high ground. I'm tired of being the party that always has to reason why this candidate has to go. why this race is too hard, why this fight is too ugly, and why we need to prove we're better, we're different than the Republicans. I don't give a fuck whether you want to be in the high ground, moral high ground, whether you want to be on the good side of history. I want that seat. I want that seat. And Graham Platner is in a position to get that seat. Grow the fuck up, Democrats. I know we're different. Our policies are different. Our policies are better. Our priorities are different. Our priorities are better. The people we fight for are different. Prove that fucking difference when you govern. But you got to win before you can govern. Put it into the laws, healthcare, wages, voting rights. Judges you confirm. Put it in the lives that make them matter. That is where I need democratic morality. I don't fucking need morality on the campaign trail. I don't need another press conference explaining why we surrender the seat with dignity. I want that seat. I need that seat. Shut your ass up and get behind Graham Platner. Put all the money you can into it. Fight the accusation. Do whatever you got to do. But you get behind that candidate because he's winning. And I know some people are going to hear this and say, TPP, this is dangerous. If Democrats start thinking this way, where does it stop? That's a fair question. It stops when the facts change. It stops when something is proven. It stops when the candidate admits what happened. It stops when the political reality truly makes the candidate unable to continue. But we are not there simply because people are horrified. Horror is not a verdict. Outrage is not a strategy. And fear is not a reason to surrender. Right now, Platner denies the allegation. That is the fact Democrats keep trying to rush past, keep trying to forget. So fight with the facts you have today, goddammit. If tomorrow brings different facts, deal with it tomorrow. But don't stop destroying today's campaign because you're afraid of tomorrow's headline or what might come out. That is how we keep losing. And we're so afraid something worse might happen that we make the worst political decision that we can hand. Every time that man is winning, get behind that man. Then if the thing we feared never happens, is it too late? The candidate is gone. The money is gone. The campaign is broken. The movement is angry. And Democrats are standing there trying to explain how we ended up losing another race we once believed we could win. I do not want to hear that explanation again. Not this time. I want Democrats to do something that seems almost radical for our party. Hold the fucking line. Hold your position. Stop panicking. Stop running. Don't confuse speed with courage. Don't confuse surrender with principle. And stop believing that every time Republicans drag us into the mud, our job is to climb onto the high ground and wave at them while they take the seat. Are you crazy? Sometimes you have to stay in the fight. You got to get in the dirt. This is where I am with Graham Platner. I don't need to repeat every reason I gave you tonight. The argument comes down to one thing. Democrats have a choice. We can keep doing what we always do, or we can do something different. We can panic, pull apart our own campaign, replace the candidate voters chose, and hope everything somehow works itself out. Or we can stand our ground and make Republicans come get some. I choose to fight. Because I've seen Democrats snatch defeat from the jaws of victory too many damn times, and I'm going to keep saying it. I have seen us take the high road straight into the minority. Straight. Look at that failure in Virginia. Like I said, I would have fired all that Supreme Court justices in Virginia to get the verdict that I wanted. Just like the Republicans would have did. I've seen us lose power and then complain about what Republicans do with it. Enough of that shit. If we believe the Senate seat, if we believe that Senate seat matters, then you act like it matters. If we believe Susan Collins needs to be defeated, then fight to defeat her. And if Graham Platner is the nominee and Graham Platner says this allegation is false, then you stop running long enough to keep him in there and let that fight happen. No more surrendering before election day. No more doing the opposition's work. No more confusing the high ground with victory. Make them come get some. For once, Democrats, make them come beat us. So what do we do now? Because everything I said up to this point means nothing if we end up doing nothing. Exactly what we always done. We can talk about Republican hypocrisy. We can talk about Ken Paxton. We can say Republicans play dirty and Democrats take the high road. We can analyze this thing until election day. At some point, we have to make a decision. My decision is simple. Keep Graham Platner. So if you guys like my content and you like my rant tonight, please put a like, share, and subscribe. You guys know what this is. This is YouTube. We need to hit the like button, please, and thank you. Hit the like button. Give me a minute. Let me read some of these super chat. Let me read some of these chats. Yeah, purity tests are bullshit. It's a numbers game. I get it. He's still, what is he? He's still what? I can't hear you. He's still 10 times better than any Republican. I think so. Timing is very suspicious. Yes, it is. The Democrats always, you got to come get me. I don't care if I got my ass out, showing my ass. If I was Graham Platner, you'd have to come get me. I double down. I am not guilty. I don't care what she say. I'm not guilty of that. Blah, blah, blah. I double down and I keep on rolling. Okay. Just crazy. Instead of falling in line and supporting that man. He's the man with the swastika on his chest or the third right. Yeah, he's that guy. Okay. That's the way politics is. I get it. I do. Let Maine voters make the choice. That's the way I look at it. Let the Maine voters take the choice. Okay. That man, you got that man over there. Y'all know full well when they replaced Biden with Kamala, when they replaced Kamala with Biden with Kamala, y'all didn't want to hear nothing about her. And they want to replace Graham Platner with somebody. Y'all don't want to hear that. No, keep him. Run with him. Okay. Okay. Dems fall into that purity trap every time. They don't know how to fight. That's crazy. You're going to throw him away because of accusation? It ain't even been proven. It'd be a different story if you had a video of him putting it to women on camera, punching them in the face, putting his dick in them. Y'all crazy. Okay. Doesn't matter. Trump is the president. Seriously, there's no standards anymore. Of course, there's no standards. So why are they worried about standards? That's crazy. He could be. He could not be. Grabbed them by the ussy. Yes. There it is. $1 trillion on Republicans and have nothing, almost nothing to show for it. We know as Democrats, our policies are better. All of our policies are better. Our thoughts are better. Our wants and needs and desires for the country are better. All day, every day. We need to support. America has some. Yes, we have serious problems. Only black Republicans. Hey, they want to have one black Republican. That's all they got to do. Republicans, you have nothing to offer the American people. That's the problem. The Republicans have no agenda that can help the American people. They don't have any intention of helping the American. They don't want health care for the people. They don't want college for the people because they're always bitching about, oh, we keep giving these H-1B visas to these foreign people, but you don't want to let your people go to school for free. You don't want to help your people become educated. You want to dismantle the education Department of Education. It's like you're dismantling everything that's put together for the United States. It's like you don't want a domestic agenda. You don't want to help the American people. I would never vote for a Republican because you have no intention of helping the American people. And this president specifically only wants to make money. He only wants to make money. He doesn't want to help the American people. That's just wild. That's what I would do. I would stack the Supreme Court. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Okay. Yes, I would. We don't care about all that. This is a message to the Democrats. Okay. This is the message to the Democrats. Stop losing. Okay. Stop losing. Oh, Confederate States. Okay. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Obama created Trump. Yes, he sure did. You racists lost your mind and thought you couldn't handle having a black president. That's how Donald Trump came out of the woodwork. He heard you guys rumbling in the background. We're white men victims. Us white men are the victims. I love how you guys turned it around. And now you guys are the victims. You white guys are the victims. That's amazing. The party switch is a lie. Yes, the party switch is a lie. We hear people say KKK started the Democrats. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Just dumb. Okay. How come Democrats created unions knowing that each union member has to pay union dues in the port? Why don't you ask a union member? Who the hell knows? Okay. Where's your evidence KKK are registered Republican? KKK is a registered Republican. KKK belongs to the Republican Party. They just do. Didn't y'all see them people walking through Washington, D.C.? Goofy. Okay. Send me the link. Send you the link. What link? Okay. How come Democrats think they're the moral ones when they're responsible for killing over 61 maybe? Are you crazy? John Patrick, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Wait a minute, hold on. Matter of fact, I wanted to see something. Hold on. Somebody said, wait a minute, hold on. Copy. I'm going to see something. Paste. I pasted the link in the chat. Somebody said they wanted to come up. What did they want to come up and say? That's the link in the chat. That's the link in the chat. Okay. We give people 5 minutes. Who wants to come up? Who wants to come up and have a conversation? Not a conversation. You ain't going to be on camera. I'm not putting people on camera because I always put people on camera and people want to show their dick and shit like that. No, we're not doing that. But I'm only giving you like 3 minutes to come up. If you don't have 3 minutes, you're not coming up in 3 minutes, then we're not going to do that. Okay? But make up your mind which one you want to do, if you do or you don't. But I'm finish reading these. Okay. Current, okay, just like they were recently exposed. Okay, do you know those people walking through Washington, D.C., I guarantee you that Southern Poverty Law District with Democrats they paid. Boy, I swear, some of y'all just listen to what's on the news and don't do no research. You just be spouting talking points. Just be spouting talking point. Okay? Just wild. Just talk nonsense. Just to be talking nonsense, right? Insider trading, unethical but not illegal. Wow. Okay. How come Reverend Wright, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton became millionaires by calling everything and everyone a racist and always trying to put people against people? Because the people they called out as racist were racist. That don't even make sense. Because they called out the people that were racist. Okay? Can't help it if you got racist. Can't help it if there were racist. Okay? We don't know what that means, Jesse Seldom. You come up and defend yourself. I have no idea what you're talking about. Some of y'all just be talking. Try to run over the police. That reminds me of what the Democrats do every time they protest anything. That makes no sense, and I don't know why you said it. KKK was Confederate Civil War soldiers, now red states conservative in Tennessee called Republican. No, I'm not saying every Republican is racist, but I am saying every racist is Republican. I am saying that because I can tell from the chat that some of y'all are really goofy. Okay, the Democrats are in the bed with KKK. Okay, Trump posted a video of Obama as an ape. We know exactly who's openly racist. Yes, we do. Exactly. Don't nobody need to. That's enough said. Okay, enough said. We don't need to know. But please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. I will be back with more content. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe tomorrow morning. Who knows? But I appreciate all you guys. I do. And I will see you in the next video. Please and thank you guys. Please and thank you. I love doing the videos. Thank you, guys. Thank you.